My name is Nick Gumper. I'm the club education coordinator for Fire FC and want to just allow a couple opportunities throughout the year to allow parents to A, know what's going on. That's always a common question. What's the latest? Where can I know things, etc. And B, give parents a platform to ask questions because I know those pop up naturally and organically throughout anyone's season. So without further ado, here we are, end of November, our parent summit, a fire from within because it's all about the inside scoop on what your club is doing, has done, and will do. So getting started here, looking back, let's look backwards before we look forwards. What have we done this past fall as a club? Well, one of the common questions that we get from parents is how can I alleviate these costs looking back at them? One of those ways is to become a ref. And it takes about 10 games, so you do have to commit a little bit, but about 10 games covers half of your registration. So if you are a parent that is interested in that pathway, just know that that is an option for you. Just reach out to Chris Day. It's as easy as that. His email is right in front of you, that you can reach out to him at your convenience if that is something that you want to explore. You can also volunteer. And specifically, we have our GMIT in May. We have tryouts in June. We have a golf tournament in July. And then we have tryouts that we had earlier this month in November. You volunteer for some of it, all of it. That will be dependent upon how much, or that'll dictate how much of your registration would be covered. If you wanted to volunteer for all of them, your full registration would be covered for the competitive side of things. So if that is something you're interested in, again, some of it, all of it, reach out to Sean Howe. I believe it's Sean at gjsoccer.com. And that should get you in touch with Sean, the executive director, to say, hey, heard about this opportunity to pay for some of my kids' registration or all of it. Tell me more. So there are options for parents to alleviate those costs because we all know life's expensive. And then within that referee world, also wanted to mention we do have in-house education for those referees. So it's not as if you get a whistle and the proper apparel and say, go get them. We do have in-house education that we do support our local referees with. So there again, Chris Day would be able to give you and share with you more details if interested there. Let's continue to look back at the fall. What have we done? Sports psychology. This is a space that I personally have helped spearhead for the club because each and every player, regardless of age and level they play, there's 4 pillars that create them as a player. It's their technical ability, how good they are with the ball. It's their tactical ability, what's their decision making on the field. There's their physical ability. Are they capable of being in good enough shape to sustain the full length, whatever that length of time is for the game or some of it, right? And that 4th pillar is that mental facet that becomes a very, very big challenge for most coaches to say, how are they intentionally really taking the time to develop that skill set as a player? Because again, that is one of the 4 pillars, but it's probably the trickiest one because we know we want a mentally tough kid. How do you measure that, right? How do you say, oh yeah, they're for sure more mentally tough than last year? It's hard, right? And so with that being the case, I wanted to tackle that one for the club. So I have been offering sports psychology sessions, if you will, once every other month. It's been pretty consistent so far. We just had one earlier this month in November. So look for that in the beginning of 2024. And again, that's to help check that box for your kids' development here at Fire FC. In addition to what your coaches already are already doing as well. And then also know that we have an in-house education, not just for referees, but for your coaches. So that's not what your fees pay for, but just know that that supporting pillar is very much an existing piece within what we do at Fire FC. So there again, coaches coaching competitive that you are paying coaching fees to are not just collecting a check saying, okay, I'm going to sit back and collect this check and that's it. They are expected to attend and participate in monthly coaching meetings. And those I also help kind of spearhead that education process for the club coaches in that department. Where are we now? We have winter programming. Things are starting to fill up. I want to say the finishing clinic has like 2 spots left. That's when I checked this morning. So if you are interested in some of this winter programming, I'm not going to name all of it because there is a list of what the club offers during the winter months, but you can go to gjsoccer.org, hit that registration tab at the top, and that will shoot you straight to the page to say, okay, what is my son or daughter, what all does Fire have for them? I noted these two younger ages. I know that's not competitive ages. Nonetheless, if you have younger kids, that you're just like, is there anything out there to spend some time? There is a 2 to 4 year old program called Mommy, Daddy, and Me. That again, registration is open on our website there. That is a requirement to have a parent or guardian to participate in that 2 to 4 year old program. And then we do have, there again, to piggyback off those ages, 4 to 6 year old program. Parents are not required to participate in that one, but just wanted to make sure competitive parents also know there's something for your little ones if you have little ones dipping into those younger ages. And maybe it's not you, maybe it's a friend that you have or a family member. Feel free to share that. And again, registration is open. That Mommy, Daddy, and Me program is starting up this Saturday. That's December 2nd, 9 a.m. And that'll start there at the Fire FC facility. End of the year communication. This is that time of year you should be hearing from your coach. If you haven't, you should probably then shoot. If your coach is crickets for some reason, that would be a surprise to me based on the conversations I've had with our technical directors, Matt and Danny. But B, if that is the case, reach out to Matt or Danny. Their emails, you can find those easy enough on our website, gjsoccer.org. Click staff, and you'll be able to find Matt and or Danny's contact info and say, hey, I haven't heard from my coach. Nick said in the parent summit that we should have heard something by now. Again, drop them a note and let's make sure we're holding each other accountable here. Ultimately, it's to keep people informed, right? Which is a big reason why I'm holding this platform for you as a parent. Competitive team trainings should be starting the week of December 4th. So just be prepared. That's on the horizon. And classroom sessions should be a part. It shouldn't just be all field sessions. I know Matt and Danny have talked to the coaches about also having classroom sessions, not only to do tactics, also to dip in that mental piece again. And so coaches have some autonomy for sure. They are not dictated, hey, you have to cover this topic. They have quite a bit of room for some creativity, I think, to get those kids off the field and break up the monotony of just saying soccer, soccer, soccer. Maybe they put a different spin on it. So just be on the lookout for that during the winter months as a parent. Where we are, communication, this is a massive topic. We constantly get asked, well, how can I find out more information? Or I missed that. Know that we, again, have that website. I've referenced it a couple times, gjsoccer.org. Social media. If you're a Facebook person, if you're an Instagram person, if you're a YouTube person, any of it, all of it, some of it, know that we have it there at your disposal as a parent. YouTube has been one that I've personally started to grow out for the club. So just know that there are short videos there. Specifically, I've created a playlist for parents, topics that pertain to parents specifically. And again, beauty of YouTube, you get to watch it at your own kind of your own expense, and they last forever, right? Sometimes you see a video on Facebook and you're like, oh, that was really good. Where do I find it? So just know YouTube is a space that we're looking to build out more and more to communicate information. In addition, not in place of, but in addition to, we have our monthly newsletter. If you're just like, I never saw that, you can go to gjsoccer.org. It's on our front page. It's called The Spark. Just click that big picture and it'll shoot you into the newest newsletter that the club has put out there. You can hear from leadership within the club to say, here's what's going on overall. Here's how we are involved in the community. We have a section specifically for our Spanish-speaking community. We have our youth spotlight, ages U11 to 14 competitively. So we hit different spaces within our newsletter. And again, that's every month to keep you as a parent updated. We have these parent summits. It's twice a year, once in May, once in November. Again, providing this opportunity to communicate what's going on. And then our email, gjsoccerinfo@gmail.com. If you have questions, comments, anything that you feel can better our club, that's the place to go to. Let's spring forward. Look at a snapshot of what's to come in 2024. We are having a college ID camp. Shoot, I think that took a little, like a 5 or 6 year hiatus from what I've been told. We're helping bring that back for those kids that are interested in playing at the next level. March 2 is going to be for the boys. March 3 is going to be for the girls. And we're looking to bring in coaches that represent all levels of college soccer. So we're starting with junior colleges, NAIA. If those acronyms or names mean nothing to you, brilliant, because we'll have coaches to better explain it and say, did you know these levels are in addition to what everybody hears about Division I and Division II and sneak in between Division 3, right? So we're going to have our goal is to have representation on the coaching end for all those levels, and also have a coaches panel to answer questions for players and parents that weekend. And we're looking to bring back alum that have played at Fire FC that have gone on to play at those various levels, so kids can have their time to have a Q&A with former alum, former players from this very club that have played at those levels, and then later on Saturday have a Q&A with college coaches working within those levels. So that's a big one coming in early March. Fast forward to the summer, and we have our golf tournament. And if this is news to you and you want to not just, well, let's start off at participating. Know that you can, of course, have a foursome. It's at Adobe Golf Course. If you want to sponsor it and be a part of that, because you're like, I didn't know that. How can I get more involved? Know that sponsorships are always, of course, an option for any small business owner. And if that's something you're interested in, just reach out to Ryan Arrington. He's our general manager at Fire FC. There again, his contact info is on our website and easily accessible there. And he spearheads that golf tournament. And actually, I put June. My apologies. It is in July. So something to be aware of and on the lookout for. Last but not least, for me, content. We love celebrating your wins, and we want to share as much as possible, as often as possible. Believe it or not, we lean on parents to give us that content. So if you have videos, if you have photos, if your kid got honored and recognized in their middle school, in their high school, for something they did off the field or something they're doing in the classroom, if you'd like to share it and are happy for us to share it, we'll do it all day long. So just know that is absolutely something we want to do more of. Again, just email us at gjsoccerinfo@gmail.com, and we will certainly share that content with our soccer community. So that is looking back to what we did, looking at what we're doing now, and spring forward to what there is to come. I'll open it up to the couple that are here. Any questions from you as parents as things stand right now? Nothing further?
Just definitely interested in the volunteer opportunities. It sounds like those are identified pretty well.
Uh-huh.
So that'll be exciting to see those. And the refereeing opportunities, what is the time commitment on the refereeing? How does that work?
Yeah, from a referee standpoint, that'll be dependent on, of course, games and game coverage. So Chris Day would be the better person to be able to say, hey, usually you want to block out this time frame on a given Saturday. I'll try to get you, working games from based on your availability. Of just like, hey, Chris, I can do the late morning and I cannot work past 3:00. Then it gives him that window to work with, so he's not pigeonholing you. Just like, I can't do that, right? So Chris Day would be your best contact to know more about the refereeing window. And then when it comes to volunteer, reach out to Sean, the executive director, and he'll be able to give you details pertaining to the volunteer. Very easy from a volunteer standpoint at those tournaments. If you're setting anything up, it's like a couple chairs and maybe a tent, but usually that even gets done prior to the event even starting. It's more of like just having representation for the one-off question, hey, where's this field? So the volunteer piece is very straightforward and simple, but Sean's your go-to there. Yep, good questions.
And what is Sean's last name?
Howe, Howe.
Okay.
Yep.
And if the finishing clinic fills up, is there any potential to still get in, or is that a hard and fast limit?
Yeah, fair question that Danny would be the better one to ask that specific question to, just because he's, I believe, the coach for that program. And like I said, coming into this morning, I know there were 2 spots left. Sometimes there's wiggle room. It just depends on what that coach to player ratio is. So I would definitely reach out to Danny at your earliest convenience. Again, go to gjsoccer.org, click on staff, and you'll be able to find Danny's contact info. And I would just ping him an email if you are interested.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.